Hi guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my August book haul. Big and amazing because it's 28 books, I think. Last I counted it was 28. I've only been gifted one and that was for a tandem read along, so that kind of doesn't count as a gift. It kind of was an PR product thingy. But then I've got 5 on this pile. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. It is 28 books. And they're all a very, very, very varied genres. I've got quite a few, like, fantasies, a lot more historical fiction than normal this time. I've got some contemporaries, I've got like 2 classics. I think I've got like 1 mystery. I will link the holiday vlog video down below because obviously a lot of these books were talked about on the holiday vlog. So, but I can't remember how much I spoke about them, so I'm just still going to kind of talk about them a little bit on each of them. But because there are 28 books, I will not be going into a huge amount of detail. But when I say it's big and amazing, it really was. Like, I know this happens every year. If you look back at my histories and my videos, if you fancy it, August tends to be the month where I tend to buy the most. One of them is that, and March, and obviously December. They're some of the months where I buy the most books, and that is because I've had the kids. And as much as I love Mia and Thomas, Mia's not been around as much she's a busy girl now, she's 13. But where I'm on mum duty, I tend to buy more books. And obviously 18 of these were on holiday. So actually, in some ways, if you think about it, 18 were on holiday. That means I technically only bought 7 out of the holiday, which isn't that bad. Like, no, technically, I bought like 9 that's not on the holiday. Yeah, I bought 9 when I wasn't on holiday. So that's actually not as bad as I think. But I did obviously go on a holiday binge. But I've also read quite a lot. So I think the numbers are going to kind of equal out. I hope. I'm still not counting my numbers on my book haul. I think I may do that in January. I think January I'm going to do another big counting my books again, because I was going to do it before then, but no, I've decided I've focused the rest of the year on not focusing on numbers. So January I'm going to do a big count, and I think I'm going to, rather than do it monthly on a big count, I'm going to do it 6 monthly. So I'll do 1 big book count in January and then 1 in July. And that way I'm not focusing on the numbers all year round, but I'm still checking in on how I'm doing. And you know what? If I go up or down, who cares? I got the number below the number I wanted it. I've got below 500. I think I've even got below 400 unread books on my shelves. And that was where I wanted it to be. So if it goes down, why am I beating myself up? But that's a chatty bit for another day maybe. But anyway, let's show you the books. The first one was my APL product. So that's my tandem read along Ever After by Amanda Prowse. I really enjoyed this book. It was one that was great. It's on one of my wrap-ups, but my reading catch-ups, but I can't for the life of me remember what it is. So, excuse me. So go on my Instagram channel to look for my review. Mum's going to be borrowing this because I think she'll love it. But I will say one thing. The author was absolutely lovely. It was an ad PR product. I did get sent it to review, but I didn't get paid. So that's why I'm not putting the ad bit on the here. But I did really enjoy it. And the author was absolutely lovely. So I've got another one of her books to show you at the end of the video. The next 4 are books I paid full whack for, because I am always honest. I'm always like, these are the ones I paid full price for. The first one was one I wanted because it was part of the series. It's Anton de Beck's one, A Dance for a King. And I've been waiting for it to come out in paperback because Kat bought me the one before in hardback and I didn't actually read it until it came out in paperback. So I decided with this one I was going to be sensible and wait. So it is part of a series, so I'm not going to go into much detail, and I don't do this on series books. But it's basically the most recent one. Although apparently there's a book, Monte Carlo in Moonlight by Anton de Beck, that's come out in paperback. And I don't know where that is. I don't think that's part of this series. And I hadn't actually heard about it until I saw it on Amazon. So this was one I got off Amazon because it was was just cheaper and I couldn't find it in the supermarket. So I thought, sod it. I didn't want to pay too much for it. But yeah, it's the most recent one in the series. I think I'm going to probably try and read this relatively soon because I've been really looking forward to it and I have loved the series. So, one historical fiction. The next one is one that you would have seen on my August TBR, and this is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Yes, I bought it in 1 month and I'm reading it the following month. What am I? Who am I? What have you done with Emily? Because I never do that. But I'm buddy reading it with Kat, and it's one that I've heard quite a bit about. I nearly bought it in hardback, but I've actually, since my August TBR's gone out, I've actually heard that people say that this has been really good. I've heard more people say that they love it. It's fantasy, a faraway island, a secret spell shop, and unexpected romance. Romantasy, fantasy, cozy romance, cozy fantasy, perfectly and utterly my jam, and I'm buddy reading with Kat straight away, pretty much. So I'll be buddy reading with Kat actually when you're seeing this video. So that's going to go in a separate bit. Then we all know, like I said, poor Kat. I know she's not really watching YouTube at the moment, but I love Kat. This one is a series me and Kat have been reading. I've still got to read The Chalice of the Gods by Percy Jackson, but Waterstones had this pretty copy. And my guy at Waterstones is absolutely lovely, and he was really nice when I got this because he knew I needed it to cheer me up, because I got this on what would have been Dad's birthday with this from Waterstones. So I got them both, and the guy at Waterstones absolutely lovely. But it's part of a series, but it's a Percy Jackson one, so I can't wait to read The Chalice of the Gods, because I did love the Leo book that I read, The Sun and the Star, but I'm really looking forward to this. But I've got to obviously read The Chalice of the Goddess first. This one is pretty sprayed edges. Percy Jackson, I'm offering you the chance of a recommendation letter from me, a major goddess, the torchbearer. Yeah, I get it. That is just that I'll have to move a few things around in my schedule. Percy Jackson's plan to have one regular school year isn't going so well, and it's about to get worse when the gods have a new quest for him. Percy's next challenge: pet sitting for the goddess Hecate. Easy, right? Wrong. It turns out when the terrifying pet escapes, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover must hunt them down or face the full fury of Hecate, I can't say her name, and her horrifying 3 heads. So looking forward to this. So actually that's fantasy, so that's going over there. I don't know where I'm putting these on my sofa. I was hoping to film outside, but it decided to rain, so that's good. And then a book that I got from The Works, because my lovely niece works there and Holly works there, and she gave me a discount. So there is some advantages of having, except for, I would say there was advantages of having her working in The Works. When I go in there, she made me buy this, so I'm blaming her, and I'm blaming the colleagues, because again, The Works were in Bracknell. What is it where I live in Bracknell? We have lovely staff at the bookshop, so obviously my book, Baz Books, is brilliant staff. Waterstones has brilliant staff, and The Works has lovely staff. So I know a couple of the girls that work there, and they all told me to get to this. And this is A Girl's Guide to Winning the War by Annie Lyons. I loved the Air Raid Book Club. I loved the idea of the Girl's Guide to Winning the War. A strong female winning the war. It's historical fiction set in 1940 about a librarian, Peggy Sparks, who is approached to work at the heart of the war effort in the Ministry of Information, and she jumps at the chance. She's determined to see her brother Joe return from safety from the front line. Wartime, female strength. This author I liked. Looking forward to reading that. I'm going to move my stacks down, because otherwise I'm going to be reaching lots. Now, none of those were bought on holiday, but some of these are holiday ones, and if I can remember which ones are holiday ones, I'll tell you. Most of them are. So the first one is Charlene Harris's Club Dead. I know that Anne Schmange's book chatter absolutely loves this series. This is the 3rd in the series, so I do need to buy the first 2 before I read it, but I saw it on offer in one of my charity shops on holiday. And it's about this. It's one of the Sookie Stackhouse, but it's the 3rd, so I'm going to try and get. I'm not going to know too much about it, because I'm going to look for the first 2 at Waterstone at Baz Books before I get a start on this one. But I thought I think the 3rd in the series wasn't too bad, so I've just got to find the first 2. But Ange reckons that where I'm loving fantasy, it is one for me. The Sookie Stackhouse has always found it difficult to date. She's cute, but not many guys are comfortable with her mind-reading abilities. But vampires have no problem with Sookie's talent. She just can't pick up much from anything from the undead. Don't want it anymore. This does look good. I am looking forward to starting this series, but I need the first 2. Be a nice fantasy. And then I found for very cheap in one of my shops on holiday, The Assassin's Blade, and it's a short story collection. It's the prequels to all of the Throne of Glass books. So I don't know if I should read this before I actually start the series or not. But I found it for like 50p on holiday. So my holiday books, most of them were really blooming cheap. So The Twist of a Knife, The Birth of a Legend, and it's about, I can't say her name, Kalina Sardothian owes her reputation to Arobin Hamel. He gave her a home in the Assassin's Guild and taught her the skills she needed to survive. Arobin's enemies stretch far and wide, from Adolin's rooftops until the filthy dens to remote islands and hostile deserts. I don't know any more than that, but I don't think it's like short stories included, but I saw it for like 50p, so I was like, why not? Then to one of the books I bought literally right when I got on holiday, and it's Harklights by Tim Tilney. And it is a cute middle grade historical fiction fantasy, and it's got so many cute little pictures in it, and it looks quite autumnal, and I don't know, I just love the look of it. And it's a signed copy, but I think this was only like £1 or something. It's a signed copy, I didn't even realise. You are never too small to make a big difference. I love that idea. It's like woodlandy. Wick has always lived in the dark and dreadful Harklights match factory and orphanage, working tireless for the greedy old mild bogey. He dreams of escaping until one day a bird drops something important and magical at his feet, a tiny baby in an acorn cradle. As midnight chimes, Wick is visited by Hobbs, a miniature protector of the forest. Grateful that the kindness shown to the stolen child, as they offer Wick the chance of a lifetime, escape Harklights and begin a new life in the wild. This does look really cute. I'm really looking forward to that. Then this isn't a holiday one. This is one that I bought at one of the charity shops near me. This is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danan, and it's a witchy fantasy. An occult expert and a disgraced archaeologist walk into a castle. Riley Rhodes finally has a chance to turn her family's knack for the supernatural into a legitimate business when she's hired to break the curse of an infamous Scottish castle. Used to working alone with her alienating occupation, she's pleasantly surprised when she meets a handsome and dark stranger upon her arrival, until he tries to get her fired. I loved the roommate and the intimacy experiment by this author, but to think it's a witchy book as well, totally unlikely up my street. Not expensive, why the bloody hell not? And then to the next two I got relatively quickly on holiday. And this is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I think I did speak about this on the holiday vlog. Have you ever had a breakup so bad you wish your whole relationship had never happened? Well, Gemma's wish has come true. After one too many margaritas lead to her mystical aunt reading out a drunken spell, she wakes up in a parallel world where she didn't give years of her life to the wrong man. And it's about wishing and fantasy a little bit, and kind of like sliding doors thing, I think. But it looks richy and it just looks so much fun. Happy Medium by Sarah Adler is the next one. I liked Miss Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler, and I've seen these sort of books in the works and I didn't buy them, but I thought this was like a quid, so I was like, why not? Fake Medium, True Love. A fake spirit medium, Gretchen Acorn, may be a fraud, but she's a benevolent one. So when a client asks her to help a friend who's struggling to lose apartment, apparently haunted goat farm, who's Gretchen say no? And it turns out that said farmer is not quite as Gretchen imagined. Charlie Waybill is young, hot as hell, and extremely unconvinced by Gretchen. And things get worse for Gretchen when she finds herself face to face with Everett, a very real, very chatty ghost. Sounds like really good. Sounds really up my street. And then the last of the fantasy is Rumblestar by Abby Elpherson, and this is the first in another series by Abby Elpherson. I read the third book from the library. Didn't realise I needed to read the first two, so I've now got the first one. And it's about Rumblestar. It's about 11-year-old Casper Tock hates risks and is allergic to adventures. There's a nasty shock when he stumbles into Rumblestar, an unmapped kingdom full of magical beasts. All Casper wants to do is go home, but Rumblestar is in trouble. Morg, an evil harpy, is trying to steal the unmapped magic for herself. So together with the utterly thankless girl, who hates rules and is allergic to behaving, her miniature dragon Arlo, Casper sets out on an adventure full of cloud giants, drizzle hags, and Nevergate trees. This just looks like really my fun. So, and I'm already 15 minutes in and I have got quite a few more books to show you, so I better hurry up a little bit. Next one is my Agatha book, which obviously I'm not doing the Agatha Alice now, but I am still looking to buy lots of Agatha books because I still want to run Alice that way. And this is After the Funeral. It is a Poirot. It's 29th in the series. So it's right down the end, so I will read it at some point, but it'll be one of the latter ones I read. When Cora is savagely murdered with a hatchet, and the extraordinary remarks she made the previous day to her brother's Richard's funeral suddenly takes on a chilling significance. At the reading of Richard's will, Cora is suddenly heard to say, "It's been hushed up very nicely, hasn't it? He was murdered, wasn't he?" Apparently, I'm reading this with Bernard because Bernard loved that one. Then to a book I've already bought in honour of Victober, which will come up, and it will be, so this is another sneaky peek, it will be on my Victober TBR because I've spoken to Kate Howe and she said it will match one of the prompts, and it's one of the Thomas Hardy books I've not read. And I believe Gender Librarian has been doing a Hardy read along, and this is one of his earliest works, and I actually wanted to read it, but I wanted to read it in the copy that I'm collecting, the Wordsworth Classics. So I spent a few quid on this. And it's a sensation novel, which is typical Wilkie, which isn't Mike Hardy, because Wilkie Collins normally does the sensational novels. But it's got a racy specimen of genre, replete with sudden death, dark mysteries, intriguing clues, fire and storm. And apparently anyone that enjoys The Woman in White is likely to enjoy Desperate Remedies. And I bloody love The Woman in White. So, sensation novel and Thomas Hardy. This could be quite a good combination. I'm well looking forward to that. But it will be read very quickly. Then I've got a book that is kind of like a mystery. It's The Case of the Imaginary Detective by Karen Joy Fowler. I've read one of her books and I didn't like it very much. But this just looked a bit... This is probably my most random one. When Rima Lenisel loses her father to cancer, her godmother Addison's California seaside mansion provides a strange and fascinating refuge. Not only is Addison's place littered with doll's houses replicating murder scenes from the world famous mystery novels, but it's also home to a handful of misfits. And this is apparently a mystery novel. I don't know anything more than that, but it does look quite good. The next one was very random. Apparently, Kerry from Bookish Wellbeings, she actually said she couldn't believe I bought this. And this is A Little Life by Hanya Yaginhara. It is a chunky book. It is a book that I will probably read next year. There's no way I'm going to read it this year. Apparently it's a very depressing and sad book. But Charlie, my sister, has absolutely raved about it. I know that actually at the moment, I know that Jem from Gemma Books has read it. And it has been spoken positively about, but apparently it's a book that will destroy me. So I need to be reading it when I'm in the right place. But it is a bloody big chunker. I can't believe I bought this. I will read it at some point, but it was only like £1, so I was like, a book that everyone's raved about, and one that, I've been putting off, but why not? So actually, I've only now got 5 contemporaries. That was actually probably the genre I bought least of, and actually it's the genre I need to buy more of. But I've got a lot more historical fiction. That seems to have been my jam this month. Historical fiction and fantasy are mainly the bulk of this book haul. This next one is Savvy Sheldon Feels as Good as Hell, and it's a body positivity book, hopeless romantic, a clueless boyfriend, and a very cute contractor. It has apparently really good body positivity comments in it. Savvy Sheldon spends a lot of her time tiptoeing around the cracks in her life. Her high stress and low thanks job, her clueless boyfriend and crumbling kitchen that she inherited from her beloved grandma who taught her how to cook. When Savvy's world starts to crash around her, she needs some renovations. It's not a very long book. Romance, body positivity, definitely my jam. Then to a book that I got because last year I bought a book by this author, and it turned out that was second in the series, and this is the first, and it's a YA romance, 1,000 Boy Kisses. A kiss lasts a moment but can change a lifetime. Rune Christensen and Poppy Litchfield meet as children and swore to be friends forever. As teenagers, they grew into a love that promised to last a lifetime. Their worlds were shattered when Rune was sent home to his native Norway. 2 years later, Rune is back and Poppy is ready for the happily ever after to begin. But the boy who returns is not the Rune she remembers. Romance, pink book, why the hell not? And then Abby Jimenez book, which is apparently lots of people are raving about this author. I think I've read one book by them, The Friend Zone, but it's romance. When Vanessa Price quits her job to pursue her dream of travelling around the globe, she wasn't expecting to gain millions of followers. For her, living every day to its fullest is just a motto. Her mother and sister never saw the age of 30, and Vanessa doesn't want to take anything for granted. But after her half-sister suddenly leaves Vanessa in the custody of her baby daughter, life goes from daily adventures to happily hourly nappy changes. I get the whole not taking life for granted. You guys know how many times I'm on like my third extra life that I shouldn't have had. So I don't take life for granted. So this kind of is my motto. So I'm really looking forward to that. The Cancer Ladies Running Club by Josie Lloyd. I've nearly bought this so many times from Baz Books. It is tackling cancer, and I know that's a trigger for some people. And at the moment, obviously, one of Charlie's subscribers is going through a battle with breast cancer. And it is a tough one. And obviously Mum had cancer last year, and I know cancer has stolen a few too many people from my life. But life isn't always a race we expected to run. When Kira first receives her breast cancer diagnosis, she doesn't want to tell her family or step back from work. She doesn't want to sit in the hospital or be part of any fellow cancer patients. Cancer is not her club. But she accepts her health is no longer something she can rely on. And Kira finds herself embracing running and running with a great company of brilliantly funny women who go through treatment, and it unexpectedly gives Kira the hope she needs. This is a book I want to read. I just don't quite know when I'm going to be able to handle it. And then lastly, this is a book by the author that I told you about, Amanda Prowse, and this is The Things I Know. And apparently this is a really good book. Like I said, the author's absolutely lovely. And it comes, Thomasina Waycott loves living and working on a remote family farm and B&B, but she also wants more, to see the world, to have her own home, to fall madly in love. But those are fairy tales, and in her life if her life is a fairy tale, then she's the ugly duckling. Her deformed lip, her crooked limbs, and her weak heart have kept her from taking chances, but that's about to change. I think I'm going to save this for Spoonies next year, but definitely save this for Spoonies, but this is one I'm really looking forward to reading. And then to my historical fiction. And I have got 7. And this is on 22 minutes. I better shift that. Shipyard Girls at War by Nancy Rowell. This, you know that I did my try chapter and I read the first in the series. So I'm going to gradually buy them in order. But so I've got, my plan is to buy it. Is to see if I can find the third and then read this once I've bought the third one. So I've got the next one in the series to read soon after. And obviously it's the second, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but it focuses on Rosie, who is flourishing as her role as head boiled while still keeping her double life a secret. But her dashing detective is forcing her to choose between love and duty. Gloria is hiding her own secret, one that if found out could not only threaten her job but her life. And then the shipyards are proving tougher for Polly than she ever imagined, while she waits for her man to return home safely. That's good. Then I've got The Blood Queen by Joanna Courtney, and it is a Macbeth retelling. It's connected to... No, it's not. It's the myth of Lady Macbeth looms large, and this is her story. Yes, it's about Lady Macbeth. Set in Scotland in 1020 AD. King Malcolm lies on his deathbed, and the most powerful families make a violent claim for the Scottish throne. On the eve of her 16th birthday, flushed and nervous, Cora Macduff wants to marry her sweetheart, Macbeth. But her dreams are stolen from her, and the night she was hoping to return for turns into a brutal slaughter. In order to reclaim the life she was promised, Cora must learn how to use every weapon at her disposal. This is good. Then I've got a couple of books that are saved for Jane Austen July next year. A Duke of One's Own by Emma Orchard. This is relatively new because I know it was in the works recently. It's connected to, it's like a Bridgerton-y kind of thing. It's a sexy historical romance that will charm fans of Evie Dunmore and Eloisa James. That's my kind of thing. But Eloise, Lady Georgiana is no stranger to breaking the rules of polite society. So when a so-called friend invites her to a clandestine party set in London 1816, the mysterious stranger offers to help, and she straight accepts, not realising that their encounter will change her life forever. Sounds like fun to me. And then Fenella Jane Miller. This is Trouble at Pemberley. So this is connected. A Regency romance for fans of Jane Austen for all Austen fans. To talk about that, definitely. Miss Kitty Bennet is travelling to Pemberley in order to become a companion to and friend to Miss Georgiana Darcy when the coach she is travelling in crashes. Bingley is hurt in the accident, and help arrives in the form of Adam Denny, the rector of Bakewell, who comes to their aid. Jane and Bingley are obliged to remain in the rectory when Kitty continues her journey alone. Sounds fun. That's the Jane Austen's life. The next one is a bit of a random one. This is Pillars of Light by Jane Johnson. This was probably the only one in my books that I'm not 100% on, but it was like 20p. And it's set in the Syrian lake of Akka. Nathaniel, a young Jewish doctor, and a Muslim girl called Zora are about to fall in love, but Saladin's army has just taken over Jerusalem, and soon their own city is engulfed by war. Bit of a big book. I don't know why. This is probably my most random one. So it won't be read. I don't know when this will get read, but it's historical fiction set in a different country. I thought I'd try it. Then I got The Only Child by Kate Nunn, and I've loved this author's books. I loved The Last Reunion. I think there's another book by this author I've loved. It has two timelines. First is in 1949, in the coldest winter that Orkneys Island has ever known, when a pregnant 16-year-old arrives at Fairmile, a home for fallen women run by the Catholic Church. She and her baby will disappear before the snow melts. And then you've got the current timeline of 2013. Frankie Gray has come to the island for the summer, hoping one last shot of reconnecting with their teenage daughter Izzy, before starting a job as a deputy sheriff. They're staying with her mother Diana at the Fairmile Inn, soon to be a boutique hotel. But when an elderly nun is found dead in suspicious circumstances, and a tiny skeleton is discovered in the grounds of the house, Frankie's desperate for answers. Love the sound of that. And then last but not least, The Midwife of Auschwitz by Anna Stewart. It is a historical fiction. It's not a non-fiction, it's historical fiction. Auschwitz in 1943. As I held a tiny baby in my arms, my fingers traced the black tattoo etched across her tiny little thigh, and I prayed that one day this set of numbers, identical to her mother's, would have the power to reunite a family torn by war. And it's basically about set in Auschwitz, and it's actually inspired by an incredible true story. The poignant knife tells the tale of a woman's fight for love, life, and hope during the unimaginable darkness. This does look like the most depressing book going, but it does look really good, and it's one I found for not too expensive, and I am looking forward to that. Now, admittedly, the emoji I'm going to get you to leave does not connect to that. But I know this has been a long book haul. I know I bought a lot of books, but do you know what? They have made me happy, and buying books this month has made me happy, and reading lots of books has made me happy. And like I said, they're all amazing books. They're all books that I'm really excited to read. Some will get read quicker than others. Some are planned for different things. But I'm done beating myself up if I buy books. Like, why do that? They've all made me happy. They're all different sort of genres, and they're all things that are good. But because Kat and quite a few people that I know and love have teased me about buying all these books in a good way, they're like, laugh because I bought so many. If you have got to the end of this video, leave me a laughing face emoji, whether you got like a cat laughing face, any of the laughing face emojis for my big book haul. What books have you been buying recently? What books are you excited about? Leave me a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.